You know, make sure they look the way you want. Take the advice that we've given you or not, but make sure they look the way you want. You know, do that for yourself. Do that because you're the one ultimately who knows your list, knows your brand, and knows how you want to be portrayed. So at least get the information out there the way you want it to be seen. Hey, ModCom gang, welcome back here at Modern Commerce with John and Casey. John, how you doing today, man? I saw that episode last week. It was a great one with Josh Snow.
Yes, that was a good episode. We'll do a shorter one this week. That was a long one. Josh can talk, and him and I can talk for hours when we do sometime. But if you haven't watched that one, so we talked to Josh Snow from Snow Teeth Whitening. He's done all kinds of things entrepreneurial, but most people know him from Snow Teeth Whitening. And he talked to us about how he basically grew that bootstrap from the ground. Like, he built the website, did all the things that, like, you know, a lot of the people who are just getting into making money online have to do to launch their e-com brand. And he brought it from that level to 100 million in sales. So we'll put a card somewhere around here on the video. So if you want to check that one out, you can go click on that one and check it out. But he had, lots of good stuff in that one. So we'll go a little shorter this week, right, Casey? We're going to talk about something right up your alley.
Right, yeah, short and sweet. 100 million, that's a lot of zeros, but yeah. So we'll go a little bit shorter today. Something kind of near and dear to my heart. We did some ad teardowns not too long ago. This week, we're going to do email teardowns. So we're just going to be pulling up. We're going to go back and forth, share our screen, pull up a few emails that we just found in our inbox, kind of critique them, say what we like, what we don't like. That way, anybody out there who's hoping to get a few tips about email, especially like the design components and whatnot in their email, maybe they'll pick up a thing or two and use it in their email marketing in the future.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think one of the things we learned early on with e-commerce is you email often, right? And really, like, if you just try and be creative, like, there's not a ton to say. It's like, here's the product, here's more products. So we developed swipe files of emails early on and started saving the ones we liked and started saving different things we liked, like subject lines, angles, things like that. That way, it just like makes that frequency of emailing often for your e-commerce brand, which you should be, much easier because you've got like all these ideas you want to try. So we'll just go through some. Hopefully they can inspire some ideas. We'll talk about what we like about them, what we think they do well, what they don't do well. And I think, Casey, you're even going to show some that we sent, so we have some insight on those.
Yeah, I got one on deck, but I'll surprise you kind of in the middle with that one. Who wants to kick this thing off? John,
I'll go first here. So
all right, John's gonna lead off bat for us here.
Yep. Cool.
So knock it out of the park, first shot. I already know it.
Yeah. So this was a brand I worked on, but I didn't do any of these emails. So I pulled email and landing page for all these. So it's a brand called Sketch and Etch. They do neon signs. The main thing they do is their custom neon signs. It's like a customized sign. A lot of people put them, use them for weddings or, like man caves, things like that. They're cool. They're pretty cool. But yeah, like, so what I like here is, so here's subject line, 20% off neons, got an emoji, and then front and center, 20% off neons, Father's Day sale. And then what I like is the angle they took here. Did you know the most popular gift for dad is still socks? I did not know that, right? Like, so it's like a really good hook. Your dad's a cool dad, but dad doesn't need another pair of socks. So then it flows well into kind of what they're doing here is like, what kind of dad is your dad? The cool dude, barman, the rock star, Godfather, and these are some of their pre-designed signs. So yeah, it's kind of like a cool angle for bridging into talking about most common gift for dads and then bridging right into neon signs. The thing I don't like about it is that I think this is very common in e-commerce. I would have preferred not 20% off neons as the subject line. And maybe they split test it and maybe it won. I don't know. But when you've got a cool, creative, unique angle like this, it gives you an opportunity. Like, you're going to do 20% off or X% off or sale or, check out these hoodies or whatever all the time as an e-com brand. Like, you're going to have subject lines about your products a lot. So if you have an opportunity to have a subject line that's not about your product and is a little more like, baity or clickbaity or just a little more like, high level of awareness, like, can you guess what the number one gift for dads is, right? Like something like that. That was off the top of my head, so it wasn't great, but something like that, I think would have been a little bit better. So we're just like not overutilizing this, like, here's a discount, because everybody has that from every e-commerce brand in their inbox. And I know that because I watch emails, and like literally when we were trying to find these emails, that's all it was. Sale, discount, new products, sale, discount. Like, so yeah, that's kind of what I don't like about it. The other thing is, you know, it's got a lot of links, it's got a lot of code, a lot of images. I think it works, it looks good. But yeah, I'm for simplifying. And then we don't have a call to action real high here, which is okay. Sometimes that's all right to not have a call to action. This image is clickable. But yeah, we don't have a call to action real high. The other thing is landing page. So we're landing on the highest call to action, which is what most people are going to click. We're landing right here on the homepage, which is fine. But if we're going to talk about neon signs for dad, I think we could have done a button right here that maybe goes to a specific collection that has, these kind of dad-oriented neon signs on it, because these are all probably going to click through to that product page. But yeah, a call to action, a button right here that clicked through to a collection that shows those dad signs, I think could be an improvement. So that's kind of what I like and don't like about that one. Casey, what do you think? What do you see?
Yeah, so I should mention that we did not share these ahead of time. So this is just me getting a kind of gut reaction on these things. So I couldn't agree with you more on the subject line. Yeah, as soon as you start looking for emails for something like this, I mean, we've realized it before, but other people might realize it too if they were looking through their email box. Yeah, everything says 20% off is blah, 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 all capital letters. I mean, it's all stuff that seems like a good idea before you ever really get into email marketing too deep, is what I think.
Yeah, from a user side, like that's everything in their inbox. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think a good subject line, one component that people really miss on a lot of times is, are you speaking to a singular person? Are you, there's going to be, I mean, sure, it happens X amount of times, but each time one person is looking at the subject line of your email and they are deciding for themselves if they want to see what you have to say. So 20% off neons, I mean, yeah, hey, if they want a neon sign, great, yeah, they probably will click on that. But if they don't already know they want it, maybe 20% off is enough incentive to do that, maybe not. But I also know that all capital letters can sometimes filter you into some poor placements in email, put you in promotions for sure, if not in spam, especially with an emoji in there. Those kinds of things can be kind of hit or miss. To your point there, when something's like content-based like this, I think you really do have a good opportunity to say something like, is your dad getting what he wants for Father's Day? Is your dad happy? Or,
the thing you shouldn't get your dad for Father's Day or something like that, right? Like, don't get him this.
Right.
There are all kinds of angles that are more like just remember the job of the subject line is to get the open, right? The job of the subject line isn't to sell product, it's to get the open.
Correct. Yeah. And the job of the email is to get the click. Job of the landing page is to complete the sale, hopefully. Yeah, so with this, I mean, I do think it's all in all a pretty good email. A couple of technical things there that I would probably have changed myself. But at one other point, I will say, I think almost all email softwares have this, like, they have split test features that are pretty common. Even people who just kind of wander into their email marketing do a split test every now and then. But just winning a split test is not necessarily, it doesn't prove that it's a good subject line or a good email. It only proves that it's potentially better than the other one. So, it depends what you split test that against. Right. When I have an emoji in there, almost always, 9 times out of 10, what I'll test is same subject line without the emoji, see what happens. Right.
And that's more of a litmus test for their deliverability when you're doing that.
Exactly, and really that's what I've found. Those split tests can help more often than not, is, because you're having bad deliverability can really turn your email into a clunker right away. And that's, if you can avoid it by just hedging your bet on 2 different kind of angles, why not? So
right, and just to be clear on that, a subject line, correct me if I'm wrong on this, the subject line with an emoji should win. If that subject line with an emoji does not win, you probably have a deliverability issue.
I think generally speaking, that's pretty fair to say. I mean, I think what emoji you choose to use and how it
there's some nuance to that, but
sure, yeah, but generally speaking, yeah, that's one of the kind of health checks I use when I go through email accounts. Is if I do that split test, afraid to say it, a lot of times with clients or people who come to us who need email marketing help, more often than not, that no emoji wins. And if that's you, hey, well, there's a link down below. You can go check out Explosive Growth Marketing and see what we can help you with maybe. But we've got a short timeline today, so I'll keep moving on here. I'll share my screen. All right. John, you let me know when this is up here.
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right. Seeing this email here from Magnolia Boutique.
Nice.
So similar kind of thing here. They're back. Emoji. That is the subject line. Not all capital letters. I do like that. Do have an exclamation point. That's also going to affect deliverability somewhat, usually in a negative way, but who knows? This is a pretty standard kind of formatting. You know, how often do you see just kind of this like brand image with just different categories that you can go to, the different collections you can go to? Back in stock. One of the reasons I picked this, because this is a good reason to send an email. And I think that's something that people should also be considering is, why do I send emails to my list?
Yeah.
Back in stock is a great reason to send an email. You know, things sold out because they were popular. And it stands to reason that if people can't get them anymore, that demand is kind of built back up. And, you know, there'll be some people on the list who wanted to get it and couldn't, or people who loved it enough to maybe get it again, depending on what it is. So I do like at least the reasoning they've sent. What's that?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I do like the reason they sent this email, first of all. And great, you know, obviously this is one of those brands, kind of Instagram-y brand where they've got great assets. They, you know, high quality photos and whatnot. I would say maybe a little much. There's a lot of scrolling I do here before I ever get to a call to action, similar to the first example you picked. But that being said, you know, they're just showing off all the things that are back in stock. Landing page. Oh, I do like here. This is also pretty low down, but up to 70% off spring sale. When you know, compared to that 20% off one you just showed, when you have an offer as compelling, like appearing to be as compelling as this, 70% off. Sure, maybe they adjusted prices or whatever they might have done. Still, you see 70% off. That's compelling when you're already on their list. So we can look at where this lands us. Back by demand. I like that. I always like when a landing page is kind of built to the email itself. They're not just dropping you some kind of typical spot here. All the same things you saw in that email are right here now with prices. So they're kind of doing it the right way as far as earn the open, earn the click, earn the sale. John, I'll put it back up here. What do you think of this email?
Yeah, okay, so some stuff that I like here. So just to kind of say, like, kind of call to action is pretty low. I do agree with that. However, scroll down for me, and let's look at this image. So that does, yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of a call to action there on the image. You know, it kind of looks buttony.
Sure,
on
yeah.
On the very top image. Also, knowing your market here, you know, clickable images may perform much, like if all those images click through to the landing page, that might perform much better than like a button for this market, right? Like it might, you know, if it's a very Instagrammable or Instagram type brand, yeah, that might perform much better. So yeah, overall, I think they did a good job of like, yeah, having the right reason and then just putting front and center. Like, I think that's probably what their market likes, and they're really strong photos. Some stuff I don't like. So first of all, generally speaking, we have essentially a menu like what is on their website in two different places in this email, both in like at the top or in the bottom right there in the, you know, what we call the footer of the email, and right there at the top. I mean, to me, it's a lot of links, and a lot of people are like, who cares? You know, why not have more links? It's a deliverability issue. Like, I don't really love I mean, we have very little copy in this email. It's actually 100% imagery. So a brand like this that, oh, there we go. There's just a little bit of copy right there.
But the ratio
that has very little copy, mostly imagery, mostly HTML elements, and then lots and lots of links. Their link to copy ratio isn't great. Like, I definitely would be testing, you know, maybe not using not using those menus. And then the other one is the social icons in the footer of the email. Again, it just adds more links. I'm not against, you know, sending people to your socials, but I think it's one of those things that looks really nice that, you know, the CEO, the owner of the brand probably looks at and is like, I love this, looks great, approved, but maybe could perform better with just a few small tweaks.
I think you made a lot of good points there, John. I think that's more often the case than not, is people gut optimize, as we say. So yeah. I'll go ahead and stop my share, John.
Look, Yeah, to be fair, you know, you have a brand and the brand has an image. We're marketers. We want it to drive sales, right? And we don't like, you know, we're not women's clothing buyers. So we're like, who cares about your brand, right? But you do. And that's part of the reason, you know, in like in the case of Magnolia Boutique, part of the reason that they have success is because they have, you know, what we always refer to as like a brand champion internally. So there's a balance, and we're very aware of that. Like we'll send the emails like the next one I'm going to send you all day because we know they perform super well. But from a brand perspective, they're not the strongest, you know. So yeah, I even set myself up. Didn't even mean to do that. All right, so there's Sketch and Etch. All right, so next one, you're gonna like take a second because you can't really tell this is an e-commerce email, right?
Yeah.
It was like just an email from like a person you know, which is the point. You know, other than it being from Apache Pine, it just feels like an email. Hi, John. We put our most popular watch, the Midnight Peak, on sale. It is a bonus that ships for free. Grab one over it, you know. And they could have, another trick here is actually just put like a URL, like apachepine.com/Midnight Peak Watch, and link that instead of hyperlinking text here. So again, looks like an email from somebody you know. Love Apache Pine. And then another little trick here, if you're going to use plain text like that, we're going to get into using plain text, but use like a person, right? So, you know, Aaron from Apache Pine, even if the person's made up, make your emails from a person. So yeah, this actually performs quite well on e-commerce, even though it doesn't show product and it's not pretty. And most like art directors aren't going to approve this, you know, that kind of thing. It does a really good job from a sales standpoint. Typically will outperform those nicer looking emails. Not because it's a better email, but because it lands in more inboxes, honestly. It's simpler, it's plain text that's not an HTML email. And it just, typically speaking, I'm generalizing, gets a little bit better deliverability. And then, you know, looking at Lander here, just drop them right onto a product page. Simple, right? Yeah, that's what he said. This watch is on sale, check it out. And then really, really strong offer, at least perceptionally, right? You know, you got to be careful with this because when you have something like that, you just have to make sure people aren't going to be skeptical of it. Like, oh, really? It's normally 110. It's on sale for 40. So you got to test it, test your offers, play with them. But they're good watches. I actually have some of the watches from these guys, and they are, you know, high-end watches. So it's a really, really strong offer. And because the offer is so strong, they don't have to say much in the email. Remember, the job of the email is to get the click, and the job of the landing page is to get the sale. And the landing page shows the offer, and the offer is strong, right? So crazy, you know, keep it simple. Midnight Peak watch on sale plus free shipping. Yeah, straightforward, what we call a direct subject line. No emojis. Again, they're all about deliverability here. They just want to get in people's inboxes, get opens, and get them to click through. Another play here would be going with something a little more what we call blind in the subject line. If you're just trying to get a lot of traffic to that offer because it's a strong offer, go with something a little bit more blind. But again, go plain text, go no emojis. But something, you know, blind is just a fancy word for clickbaity, right? Something a little more clickbaity, and then, you know, you can use your same copy, drop them on that page. So again, you're just trying to get as many opens as possible, as many clicks as possible, and then people see the offer and the offer converts. So super simple. So yeah, if I were gonna tear this down, I would say trying a blind subject line would be my test. The other test is, or the other thing I will say is that this brand does send a lot of email just like this, and varying your email, I believe, is important. So varying the look, varying the subject lines, hitting different people so you can, so that like not the same group of people are opening all the time, right? You have like different groups of people who are opening, and your openers, engagers, buckets are bigger.
Right. So I like this email. I think it's to the point. It does look like something. I'm a fan of plain text emails when I am working for brands because they do deliver better to your list. Subject line, that's the first thing that jumped out to me too, where probably could see some improvement. Blind is one way to look at it. I think it would do better. I think the style of this email, the way it does go for kind of a personal feel, I mean, it ends in love. Apache Pine, you know, so like they are going for that personal feels for sure. But it's weird that the first thing they see doesn't have any of that. It's Midnight Peak watch on sale plus free shipping. I mean, that sounds transactional at best, you know. So not terrible, but it's weird that there's kind of a disconnect there. I would go with something. Obviously, they have like what you might call a merge field or something where they have your name in there. They can go ahead and on most email clients, they can put that into the subject line as well. I might have gone for something like that too. And the other thing about this subject line,
hey John, I thought you might like this.
Right. Yeah. The other thing about this this subject line is that it's kind of long. I could guarantee that on mobile, this is going to ellipses off probably somewhere like, yeah, it's going to be midnight watch on ... I mean, talk about like real estate here. Like, I'm not clicking on that subject line when it's that much there. You know, I have no reason to. I've missed all the good points of it. So I would look at that. And that's just another tip I would lend to anybody doing email marketing is send yourself a preview, especially as you're kind of getting into it, getting used to it. Send yourself those previews, especially for those subject line views, and look at them on your smartphone, because that's where the overwhelming majority, probably 80% of overall email users are looking on their smartphone, not on their desktop. So, you know, just like in sports, how we practice like we play, you want to see what that's going to look like to the people who actually receive your email and see if you like it. So I tend to have real short subject lines. Aside from that, yep, I like that it sends to a deep in the funnel kind of strategy, send right to the product, fewer clicks once people get there. And I will say this too, just in comparison to the last one that I showed, where they had a lot of really good imagery. For that brand, that might be good. But if you do believe you have good products, you have good imagery on the landing page, on the product page, that is, you know, you don't need to clutter up your email with that much. Remember, the email is to get the click to the lander. The lander, as long as it does its job, you know, it has nice pictures and good offer, then yeah, it should do its job. So don't overcomplicate it.
One more call out I want to give here is the sender email, support@apachePine.com, and I was going to call this out on the last one that you showed. It was sales@magnoliaboutique.com. So this email lands in my inbox, not in promotions, in my inbox. And I don't engage with this brand any more often than I engage with any other brands. But that is the #1 way you can drive revenue from email, is if you can just land in more actual inboxes, not promotion tabs, not spam, actual inboxes. Support@apachePine is their support email, meaning they do a lot of back and forth, actual one-to-one emailing from that email. Which is a signal to ESPs like Google. Sales@magnoliaboutique.com sounds like an email that you're doing email marketing from, right? Or that's the signal it sends to those. So just be aware of like what your email sender, your sending email is. Now, does it matter a ton? Are you going to be able to see a marked difference? Maybe, maybe not. You know, it might not matter a lot, but just little things like, you know, Apache Pine, as simple as they are, does a lot to like drive a ton of revenue from email, and they do drive like over half of their revenue from email, just with simple stuff like this.
Awesome, man. So interesting you brought up that sender email here as I bring up my next one. I have a little something. Okay, so click onto this one here. This is actually one I sent for one of the brands that we work with. And this one, the sender email itself, it is actually that sales at. So didn't take your advice on that one, I suppose, but I don't set that thing up. That's for the brand owner itself themselves. But sender name. So a lot of the different, you know, I use Klaviyo as my preferred tool that I send email from, and this will allow you to change your sender name. So you can't abuse this. This is #1 thing you have to emphasize. Don't do this every email.
Don't.
At most, maybe once a month, probably less frequently than that. I mean, maybe once a quarter, twice a quarter, maybe. Even then, and I'd save it for a big sale or something that you know is going to hit well, because this will help people see the message. So you don't want it to be some just generic content kind of message. So anyway, this one, have you seen my shield? Again, short subject line. This, I checked it for sure on my smartphone. I can see this whole thing in my Gmail inbox from my smartphone. It's not going to ellipses off. People get, whether or not it's a great idea, at least people see the whole idea, right? Like that one that you just showed.
Captain America is asking if you've seen his shield.
Like, who does, like, are you not an American? I mean, hey, I'm sure if there's anybody watching who's not an American, I apologize. Of course, you might not want to, but if you're not an American, you still might want to help Captain America find his shield. Like, who wouldn't do that? So, looking for a shield, that's compelling. I can tell you, I won't show you the analytics on this, but I can tell you, people open this like crazy. then also on these, you want the message to make sense with it. Like we've seen some disconnects from subject lines to email copy, and I don't think this one does it. I'm not tooting my own horn, but it picks right up. Oh yeah, that's right. I lent it out to the bogey team. They're making, hey, get your shield now. Let's just imagine this is too much copy. People don't even want to read it. What are they going to see for sure? This. Hey, I'm helping Captain America find his shield. You want a shield? Go get one. That'll drop you right here. Boom. Look at that. You get your own Captain America shield. It's a good offer, good price point. A good amount of people bought from this. It was a pretty successful email, especially compared to the other emails from this brand. So
it's like, so like a lot of people are like, wait, why do I want a little mini shield? Like that's a ball marker. It's a golf thing. And all the people on this list are golf people, just for context for everybody. But like in the world of golf, this is a really it's a unique product that's like, oh yeah, cool. Captain America shield ball marker. And it's like a very unique way to talk to them about that product, because every other brand in their inbox is saying like new ball markers in stock, right?
Right.
Or sale on ball markers. Yeah, so that's why it was so successful in terms of opens, clicks, sales, all of it.
And if you're not the most creative person, I can give you a big hint here. If you use a well-known person like Captain America, a well-known character, but you don't know how to kind of speak in their voice, maybe that's not your thing. Actually, the whole second half of this email are actual Captain America quotes from Marvel movies. So you don't need to be creative all the time. Use what people already like about him. And I even got cute here, signed it off with his kind of alter ego. What do they call them? Hidden identities. Is he hidden? Is Steve? I don't know. One last tip about this, because I know we got to speed up a little bit here to get through this last lightning round. One last tip: if you do this sender name switch, I've made this mistake before. When you go, a lot of people do this. You copy one campaign to create your next one. Make sure you change it back. You have to actively change it back on all those email tools too, because you don't want to be sending your next email from Captain America when he's not talking about his shield and he's talking about sinking a hole in one. You're like, I didn't even know Captain America called.
I didn't even realize called.
Yeah, that can lead to a lot of spam. So anyway, I'll stop my share here. John, go ahead with your next one, man.
All right, so this is the last one. Cool. So there's Apache Pine. So last one, fluid stance. I actually buy these. I bought one of these products, so I am in their buyers pool. Meaning, I'm in their segment of buyers in Klaviyo, which is your highest opening, highest clicking. And again, they land in my spam, or not my spam. Sorry, my promotions. So what do I like about it? Flash sale ends at midnight. Look, if it is the end of a sale, then yeah, then you should just say, hey, this sale is ending. But again, just keep in mind, like everybody's having a flash sale today. Every other brand in their inbox is having a flash sale today. They all end at midnight, or their sale is starting today or something like that. So yeah, I mean, look, we use these, right? Sale ends today, last chance, all that kind of stuff. We try and be a little more creative with it, like, don't miss out, or what will future John say, or something like that, or sometimes we send from future John and say, I can't believe you didn't do this, bro, like in the subject line, yeah. Right? So like, think about it a little bit. How can you be creative with that? But yeah, I mean, look, straightforward, nothing wrong. Again, vary it. Like, don't use blind email subject lines all the time. Don't use sender names all the time, right? It's a good trick, but that's fine.
Yeah, I will say this: whenever I do need to send something just kind of informative like that, like scroll up just a touch again, John, something like this flash sale. You can scroll up. Yeah, rather than the emoji, which I've already said a couple times can impact deliverability. A lot of times I'll go for bracketed around that like flash sale. It looks kind of simple, maybe it looks kind of old school, but you wouldn't believe how much that stands out in an inbox compared to emojis. I mean, when 15 out of 20 emails in your inbox have emojis, but one has brackets around capital letters, flash sale, it actually stands out a lot more, and you're getting a boost in deliverability most of the time compared to those others. So you might land in inbox rather than promotions, or in promotions rather than spam. That's all I think about that. But.
Also, a point on exclamation points. People, e-commerce brand marketers have a tendency to overuse them. You really don't need exclamation points that much, especially in your subject lines.
My most common punctuation in subject lines is an ellipses, because I know that if it were long enough, Gmail or Yahoo, they're going to do that to it anyway. So I just want to mimic that kind of organic feel, even if I'm putting it in myself, because the subject line is short enough. I tend to do that more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, you know, here's what I like about this. This brand is very unique and very cool products. So we go product image front and center, and it's like kind of an attention grabbing one. And then down here, I had to find something with a GIF. GIFs in email are solid. What's that, Casey?
The level little movement.
Yes, a little movement in your email. If it's me, I'm going to put the GIF up here. I'm going to put this image down here. I'm going to lead with the GIF. And again, flash sale ends at midnight, save 20. I want a call to action right there. This is a clickable image. That's fine. Make the image clickable, but like, give me save 20. Like, make that a button, you know? And then
I'd one step higher and say, hey, go drop into Canva for 2 seconds and drop flash sale ends at midnight on top of that image if you're going to put it there, you know?
Exactly. Right here, elevate your laptop with lift. It's a trademarked phrase. I get it, but this is a much stronger value prop. A laptop riser and desktop whiteboard all in one, right? So it'll put a whiteboard right underneath your laptop. Like, be a little bit more clear about your call to action or about your value prop. Because again, these are really cool products, right? Like a lot of, like I have one right here in front of me, not on my laptop, but I have this product right here, the desktop whiteboard, which is cool. You know, like they're really cool products. So like, just be very clear about the value prop a little bit. You did that right here with this image. You did it with this image. With the copy, be a little bit better with it. You know, feel better with improved ergonomics. You know, like it's just not. We could be a little stronger there, I think. Also, white copy on a dark background. Be very sparing with that. I just wouldn't do it. You know, I don't know.
And some people might wonder, hey, if you like the movement so much, why a GIF? Why not just opt for a whole video? Well, a lot of email tools won't let you put in videos. Some do, in which case, yeah, go for it. Another little like hack I'll do sometimes is drop a thumbnail of a video on there that's just a fake thumbnail with a play symbol on it, so people will click. Give you a little boost to your
click booster. Use your laptop as a second monitor. Like, okay, yeah, I mean, like it doesn't really talk about what their product does, right?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, they talk about a lot of things that aren't probably the reason people are buying this.
Sure.
But you know, bad marketing on a really solid product will still work. So it probably works okay with them. And I'm not saying it's bad, but just could be better, I think. And then again, just don't. Look, test the menu versus no menu side by side in a few different emails. And if it wins, fine, but I doubt it will win. And then, so I didn't click on every link in there. There's a good chance they go to different ones. Well, actually looks like this is a product feature about that same product. But yeah, I mean, you know, no reason not to drop me right on the product page. Product page converts. We could do a whole other episode about landing page teardowns and whether I think this is the best product page or not, but I personally would lead with this GIF on this product page. That's all I'll say about it right now, right? Because it shows everything. It shows that it's a riser, it can be on the ground, and this will rise or it can be on the table, and this will rise your laptop up, and it shows that it's a whiteboard in like 1 second, you know? And yeah, that's what I'd lead with on this product page. That's it, man. What do you think on this one?
I like it. I mean, I think it's a little wordy. I think this might be a case of, I like the product, I should say. I think it might be the case of whoever was doing the marketing for this brand might have been a little too close to the trees to see the forest and highlight the actual, you know, the reasons why people might be buying this thing. So yeah, that's my biggest takeaway from that. It is pretty long. I mean, if you're expecting those point by point to kind of add up into something larger, I would probably guess that most people would make it about halfway through before they just kind of go, or they've already decided they want to click through. Kind of a lot just for a lot, the sake of having a lot. Maybe.
And I'm not against long emails, but like, you know, think about a long email or long copy like this. Like most of the people are going to click or not click in the beginning, and they're not going to read your long stuff. The long stuff is there for the people who just like want every bit of information, right? And so have it, right? Because you know, you want to speak to those people too, but think about them, right? Like, I just don't know that it kind of does, you know, well, it plays with others. Look, you can use it as a separate.
I will say, since they're doing that, it is good to have call to actions you know, littered throughout. So
right, exactly.
You know,
and we give back. So yeah, I guess actually now I'm gonna eat my words and say they do that well, right? Like they put the message front and center. I don't know that this is the strongest message to put in your first section of copy, but you know, basically everybody has decided to click by the time they get to here, which I think is why this GIF is not well placed. This should be at the top. But then, you know, improved ergonomics, right? Like, and I get why the GIF is there because his back is better, right? Second monitor, like they're just, for those people who want to stick around, like, oh, cool, I'm not convinced yet, I'm not convinced yet. That is who you need to be thinking about with your long stuff, your long tail content in your emails. Versatility outside the office, we give back, sustainability first, standing guarantee. Like we've given you a lot of reasons to buy at this point. We've reversed your risk with this 30-day risk-free. You know, so yeah, like the people who do need to be convinced more are convinced in this email. So they do actually do that pretty well, I think, other than putting it on a dark background. One thing I will say here is, also when you have this company only has a couple products. So they're just kind of, you know, sending emails, different emails about these same products all the time, which is why they're reverting to flash sale, product on sale, right? Like that's fine. But really think through like the different reasons people might buy or the different use cases, or even finding use cases from your customers and email about those, right? Like, so if it's improved ergonomics, like you can do a whole email about improved ergonomics that can be not about a sale at all. Right, and it can be a different subject line, and it can sell the product from that standpoint. You know, if you want to do this whole thing about versatility of why you need a whiteboard underneath your laptop, like, and show a whole bunch of different use cases, you can. Or you could do a whole email about this image right here. Like, check this out, right? Like, if you cook at all, and if you have a customer who's actually had that use case for it, that's even better. You can just do a feature of them and how they used it, right? So if you've got few products, think about those kinds of things, different use cases, different customer features, things like that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So since I know we got to go here, since this is kind of up my alley, I'm going to go ahead and leave us with a parting shot here, John. I normally pass it to you, but I want it this time. You know?
Yeah.
So I will say, just kind of to sum things up, you know, subject lines, we talked a lot about those today. Test them is the main thing I would say. Test them, send them to yourself, look at them up on your phone. That's a great tip. You know, make sure they look the way you want. Take the advice that we've given you or not, but make sure they look the way you want. You know, do that for yourself. Do that because you're the one ultimately who knows your list, knows your brand, and knows how you want to be portrayed. So at least get the information out there the way you want it to be seen, and go from there, I guess. From there, also, more is not always better in emails. The other thing we've said a ton here is the job of the subject line is to get the job of the email is to get the click to the next page. So you don't need to do all the selling in the email itself. I think that last example was a little bit to that point where they didn't need to sell so much in the email. They could do that on the next page. And then, yeah, if you do those things in order and it makes sense, go ahead and send them deep in the funnel. That can always make it easier for people to kind of be incentivized to purchase because they don't have to click 100 times to find the thing you emailed them about. Drop them somewhere where it makes sense. Don't always send them to a product when it doesn't make sense, but do it when it does, and have fun with it. Use a personal voice in your emails. Don't always go for that generic kind of, you know, transactional kind of sound. Play with it a little. Try that sender name tip that I gave you. Have some fun with it and test everything. See what you like. And watch one of our other videos over here, guys. And until next time, we'll see you.